Hi, welcome back. Um, Probably had a very tough week last week. You may still be working through your step 4, and that's okay. But we're going to go ahead and move on to step 5. That way you know what to expect. And step 5 is admitting to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Now, step 5 is an extreme trusting step. It's one thing to write it all down on paper by ourselves. It's one thing to know what we did, and you know it may be even uh, you know that God knows everything that's going on in your life, and why isn't that okay? Because you can still twist it in your mind and lie. We are the wonderful deceivers of ourselves and other people. And when we introduce another human being into the mix, this gets us really out of ourselves. This puts us in a place that a lot of us haven't been in a very long time, and that is trusting another human being. For a long time, a lot of us live in the mentality and live in the head of us and them. Everyone's out to get me. It's never my fault. And when we sit down with another human being and the Spirit of God or your higher power, whatever you choose to call it, it's a humbling experience. It really is. And when you verbalize this out loud, when you vibrate this out loud, and you have somebody that you do trust, um, it, it releases so much. I mean, working through step 4 is a release in itself. But finally talking about it, finally letting it go, and finally owning your part in all of it, it is such a humbling spiritual experience. And for a lot of people, this is where they get that real grand spiritual experience. I know after I got done doing my step 5, I felt so empty. I mean, there was this huge weight that had been lifted off of me. It was probably the best night's sleep I had had in years without medication of some sort. It was just amazing. And this this is where we really start taking action on learning that we need to talk to other people. That by staying in our heads, that lower ego self, and that fear will keep you spinning in your mind. And even from this day forward, this is a step that we have to consciously make, whenever we catch ourselves up in our head and trying to sort things out, or you know going over something over and over and over again. That's a sure sign that, hey, I need to talk to somebody, because my lower ego has got me spinning here. I'm trying to figure it out in my own mind, and it's just frustrating me, or I'm building a resentment, or you know I'm not I'm just having a rough time with it. And this is where we start learning to reach out and talk to other human beings, because you're not alone. This is a human condition. This is a condition for addict and alcoholics to the extreme, yes, but this is a human condition. So many people who's never even picked up drugs or alcohol do the exact same thing. These are spiritual steps. These aren't just for people with substance abuse problems. These are spiritual steps. They've been around long before Alcoholics Anonymous even took a foothold, which I'm very grateful for, because it gave the addict alcoholic a chance to grow into their spiritual self and recognize the truth of who they are as well. But again, like I said, step 5 is really reaching out. It's a trusting step. It's a humbling step. It's a necessary step. Throughout traditions and throughout religions, throughout time, confession is releasing of the soul. It's letting go of your demons. It's confessing your fears and your mistakes, so that they're in the open and you can really stop and look at them and get and the opinion of somebody who wants to help you, not just somebody else who wants to go ahead and tell you what you want to hear, or justify you, or say, yeah, you're right, it shouldn't be like that. No, the person you sit down with is somebody who is going to support what you are doing, but is not going to feed your addict or feed your ego. They're going to help you see. They're going to help you see, your part in it. They're going to allow you to release this, so that it's no longer weighing on you. And the entire time, the Holy Spirit is present and listening. And when you release your demons into the spirit of the divine, you got to know they're gone. They're gone. And you don't have to sit with them any longer. They no longer can hurt you. Um, and this is where we start to connect with the world around us when we stop being afraid of other people, and thinking that we're alone in all of this, because you're not. You are so not alone. Like I said, this is a human condition. Every man, woman, and child on the face of this planet has or will at some point in time go through this type of inner turmoil and inner fear. And it's only when we work against fear do we conquer fear, because fear is a mind killer and it is a spirit killer. And granted, you can't kill what you did not create, but it can diminish your spirit to a point where you feel dead inside. And I know that because I there was many a times I just didn't want to go on. I didn't want to exist anymore. It just seemed like it was too hard, and that was that lower ego just keeping me trapped in my fear and inside myself, and afraid to tell anybody what was going on inside of me for fear they thought I was crazy, or it was just whatever it wanted to try to tell me. I mean, it was so full of lies it wasn't even funny. So find somebody, whether you're in the program or your minister, a spiritual counselor, a dear, dear friend that has been with you for a long time, who isn't going to, tell you what you want to hear, but who's going to be honest with you. Sit down and take your notebook and read this off to them, all the way across from your resentment down to what it affected, down to your part in all of it. And, you know, you'd be amazed how good you're going to feel when you're done. When you're done, I would recommend taking some time just to be alone for a little while afterwards, and just breathing, experiencing the physical release that you just went through, and you'll start to notice that your mind is starting to quiet down a little bit. It's amazing the psychological, emotional, physical, spiritual effects that confessing the heart and the soul to a trusted friend or counselor or a spiritual advisor um, can do for you. I mean, even medically, it can just release the weight. You may experience back pain lessening, or knee pain, wrist pain, shoulder pain. You'd be amazed on how, when we release emotional pain and mental anguish, and step through that fear, how it will physically lighten us. It really is amazing. So I recommend that you go ahead and move to this gift, because it truly is a gift. You are giving yourself freedom, and for some of you, maybe for the very first time in your life, and you're going to experience a weight lifted from you. I be honest. Be honest. Don't hold anything back. Don't try to keep something because you're afraid whatever it is, is too shameful, or you're afraid you're going to get in trouble with the law or whatever. Just get it off of you. That's why you go to a priest or a spiritual counselor. I mean, anybody who's ordained has to. That's part of their ordination, is counseling people, and it having to remain with them and God. It's not for someone else to go tell on you, because it won't happen. It just won't happen. So there's nothing to be afraid of. That's just your lower ego again, trying to keep you fearful, trying to keep you from releasing all of your demons, and or your lower ego's feelings, or whatever you want to call it. But don't give in to the lie. Step into the next step. Allow yourself this freedom. You will be amazed when you are finished, truly. And you are so supported, and you are so loved. and you're starting to feel that. I think if you're anything like me, after I got done doing my step 4, I was excited to do my step 5. I couldn't wait to get all of this off of me because I had brought it to the surface with step 4, and now step 5 was the final release. And oh my God, like I said, I slept. I slept like a baby that night, and my back pain just almost practically went away overnight. I mean, it was crazy amazing, and it was so freeing. And I don't have to do that anymore. I know to go talk to somebody now and not to let it sit and fester inside of me, or be afraid to live my life anymore. Fear, mind killer. Fear, false evidence appearing real. It's not real. It's not. Step through, step into freedom, step into the next step to free yourself to a happier, more expanding life so that you can enjoy the gift of who you are and be able to share the gift of who you are with the world without all that cumbersome weight hiding you. You're so worth it. I love you. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.